workflows. Like, for example, a lab would be testing the limits of SynthEdit's memory, or as far as if you have too many patch memories, it makes saving slower. However, there's no documentation for that, so this would be the kind of place you document that sort of thing. Third-party modules, this is probably the base of the SynthEdit Wiki right now. Has the most information. This is and a list of third-party modules. However, it's not up to date. Some of these links might be broken, or modules might have moved. I did the best I could in 2020 to scrape the internet for as much as I could. There are third-party modules and 64-bit modules. You can organize them by clicking the appropriate header, and it'll sort them. So you can have your, all your 64-bit modules here from these people, and it'll tell you that none of these modules come in 64 bits, and so forth. There's also archive links. So these are the pages. Say, for instance, looking for a specific one here. A good example. Down here. Bear with me for a second. I'm trying to remember. We'll go with Christian Bud, even though his page is still active, I guess. I mean, I was looking for Dave Apt. Right here. So this used to be like such a wide resource for SynthEdit modules. However, he has discontinued development, and only 32-bit modules were available. These modules were quite extensive. And instead of having to go to the website, you can actually just go into this archive here, and it will display all the files that existed on that server. So we want, I believe, zip files. We have all the images and stuff. So it's generally the website itself. However, these are just the files, so we can pull up just the zips, and we have all the zip files. Sometimes they don't work, but about 90% of the time they do. So instead of having to dig through the websites or whatever, what have you, you can just come here, type in zip or rar, or however you think they were stored. So SE1 might even work. SE1 is a prefab. Yeah, there's a prefab there. Close that. So those are the two archive types added by, that's just me. I seem to be the only one upkeeping on the website itself. Perhaps down the road I will do a documentation on how to edit the website. I mean, this wiki is open for anybody to come along and add to, correct. So documentation. This is just a couple things I've outlined, helpful resources. So this is what all the global text default fonts look like. A brief of that, quick look at that. A list of true 6:9 resolutions with divisions by 8 highlighted. So this will help you build your layout, your GUI, whether it's your background or elements within your plugin. So here are all the layouts. Standard screens go up to about 1920 by 1080 these days, and then the 4K screens, I believe, are way up here. This is a 4K screen here. And the green ones are divisions by 8. So that's 16 by 9, and then we come up 128 by 72. So these divisions by 9 will fit perfectly in the synthetic grid. Generally, I like to stick around 768 by 432 for the background, the whole canvas itself. However, that doesn't always permit, all the controls you want in. I might have to make them small. Again, there's 1024 by 576. The standard old resolution was 1024 by 768, so it's really up to the developer if they want to restrain their developments to that screen width. I'm not sure the statistics of usage for the 1024 by 768 anymore. Some of the other resources here are default Windows fonts, so both of these. And we have a Windows 10 font list. These are all the fonts that come with Windows 10. And these are helpful for, doing your lettering, filling up your global text, and we got all sorts of stuff. Just looking to see if there's any Windows XP. Look like, okay, they're here. Looks like we go as far back as Windows 7 on this list. Or there is a Windows XP font list here. These are all the fonts that come with Windows XP. Additionally, there is the Google fonts, but those aren't listed here. Wazoo Books. And Wazoo Books website offering the book as a free download. However, this website has been not exactly discontinued, but it doesn't have the resources anymore. I have to update this link here. A link to the book's reference modules and example prefabs hosted at synthedit.users.org. So this was backed up by a user, the SynthEdit users.org. It was backed up into the internet. There's another list of resources somewhere else. Original Wazoo book publication. So this is from the archive. I'm just going to check my microphone here. It looks like it's running. So this is an archive of the original ebook. It actually did have a sale price. And I did myself personally buy it. I paid the amount for the book itself. So yeah, this is the first listing here. I believe we can download the book. Oh no, this is the zip files, that's right. But I don't think they're actually, oh, they are on the server. Interesting. All right, so this is redundant. These two kind of both have the same thing, as I could just use the archive.org for these files. However, these files are here. I need to update this link. And I need to figure out where the book is. Book itself. There is another book, Synth Wizard. It has a small section on SynthEdit, but that's a video for another time. So continuing through the SynthEdit Wiki, I got fonts here. This is just a quick link to Google Fonts. So click here, we'll be brought to fonts.google and fonts audio. This is something that the developer of SynthEdit had highlighted for usage. So these are all a open web type license, which I believe are allowed to be redistributed. So anything here can be included in an installer package for any created plugins. So if you want to, stylize the title of your plugin, there's something. Let's say synthesizer. You named your synthesizer. You could, take the Fascinate font, download it, and then hopefully bring it into SynthEdit using the global text and include it in your installer, and then present the option for the end user to install this font. So your header would actually have a curve-based font stylized in the top corner or wherever you put the title of your plugin. So as far as I know, these are all legally redistributable. It's just something that's part of Google Fonts. However, the font audio, I'm not 100% sure if this is redistributable. However, there are common characters. This again is a font. There are common characters that are used in most plugin applications. Oops. Yeah, there's a bigger picture. And again, these are curve-based or vector type images, so they constantly rescale. And here's the licenses here. which I'm not going to get into. However, I'm pretty sure the redistributable, I imagine the audio font could be redistributed, and nobody would have a problem with that. As long as you don't try to like claim ownership of it or anything. And formulas, this is projected to be the wave shaper formulas. Just a big list of them. Perhaps an image of how they look. An audio demonstration. Something down the road, there's some prefabs. I did create recently a prefab, which is just the 808 snare from the original SynthEdit 1.1, which had a full prefab full of drums, 16 different hits, 15? I can't remember exactly how many different hits, however, most of the drum type hits were there. And this isn't currently in beta version. Thankfully, someone from the groups.io helped me bring its efficiency up. I'm not going to be looking at that, however, this is the area for prefabs. This is just DSP for now. Preferably there be some GUI controls, which we'll see. Graphics, oops. Graphics, I'm not even sure what's in here. Okay, so these are some redistributable graphics, I guess. So we have the audio units logo. This comes straight from Apple. However, you probably have to sign up for their license and stuff. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure what size that comes in. If I open tab, it's like as big as it gets there. However, there is tools to rescale, or maybe there is yeah, a bigger logo there. I'm not going to download that or look at it. There's the VST SDK, which leads to VST3 artwork, I believe. VST3. Oh, it's missing now. This needs to be updated. Yeah, this needs to be updated. It's supposed to contain the VST3 logo. Actually, I do believe the VST3 logo is within VST compatible logo could be found in the folder VST SDK VST3 SDK doc and artwork. Okay, so this does lead to the right place. This doesn't need to be a link though. What does it even say as a link is? Just as a license. That doesn't need to be a link. However, this does lead to the right place, so you'd have to download this, I do believe, and then inside of that there would be the VST3 logo, and here is a maybe VST2. No, it says VST. So there's an alternate source for the VST3 logo. I do believe this is something someone else had created. This is the DSP. So yeah, that's just images, graphics, and utilities. So this is an extensive list of some free utilities, some pretty much unrelated. For example, we have Audacity here, Polyphone, Soundware, Sound Font Developer, SF2 Comp, Sound Font Developer, Vienna, because it's not Vienna. I'm not sure how you'd say that, Vienna. And so Audacity is your standard multi-track audio editor. It used to be free open source. However, I do believe it is now owned by a commercial company, a commercial entity. It's still free and probably still open source. However, it is owned by someone else now. And I heard that they're injecting some garbage into it. And Polyphone is a modern synthetic or sound font developer, which is free. I'm not sure if it's open source. And we have SF2 Comp. This is a command line type sound font editor. It's probably one of my favorites, whereas you can get really down and dirty with the text batching and stuff, sort of scripting. However, if you want to do things quickly or your preference is GUI or GUI, then Polyphone or Vienna, maybe more your speed. So this is just another sound font editor, a bit more old. Between Polyphone and Venom, I mean, I don't want to be subjective about it. There's different features between the two. I have found that Polyphone, when I tried to build a square wave, it clipped one of the samples. Yeah, so the square didn't come out. It just did a DC offset, whereas Vina, it correctly created this. It created the square waveform. So something to look out for. If you're having trouble in Polyphone, try out Vina, vice versa. Some other tools are Loop Midi. I'm actually just going to run through these right quick because I don't have too much time. I want to squeeze, everything into an hour. But I'll give a brief. So Loop Midi is the free MIDI loopback tool. Setup is an installation creation compiler. So this is the application that you distribute your fonts through. It allows you to create, uninstaller. It also allows you to create start menu options for users so they can quickly get to the, say, README PDF or the README file. Plugin Consultant, this is a VST2 monitoring logging tool. Visual Studio, this would be for third-party module development. VST Plugin Analyzer, VST2 testing, another testing or logging tool, monitoring tool for VST2. We have the VST3 plugin test host, small test host included with the VST3 SDK, and VST preset generator. This is sort of a algorithmic preset generator. I'm pretty sure it's still going. So you select your ranges and your targets and your scopes and for specific controls, and it'll generate a whole bunch of different presets for that. And we have some visual tools here. So there's Blender 3D. You can create, some knobs or controls in 3D. GIMP here, or I can't even remember what the full name is. A graphic GNU image manipulation program, which is preferably my favorite. This is the alternative to Photoshop, and it does have quite extensive usage. And then there's Knobman. This is a quick knob generator. However, it does lack some oversampling functionality. It can oversample. However, because it's a bit dated, its oversampling abilities are less than desirable. So it can generate standard knobs and stuff. I mean, that's a little bit crusty on here, but it can do a nice job with standard definition. However, if you want to bring up oversampling anything past 512 by 512, you're going to be sitting there waiting for it, or it's just not going to happen at all, because it does have 2, 4, and I believe 8 of oversampling, and if your base image is too big, it's just not going to do anything. And here's the web version, so I'm not sure how this. No, it doesn't have oversampling at all. I'm not sure how big you can make that, but it'll probably stall out at 512, 128. Okay, so there's Krita. Well, let's go to Skinman. We'll jump right to Skinman. This is apparently supposed to be for skins. It's similar to the same developer as Knobman, and a similar working environment, except for loose windows, and it doesn't make animations. I'm not 100% sure about that, because it does have some selection tools that show that there would be animation frames. I'm not 100% sure how that works, so. However, it does look like development has ceased on both Knobman and Skinman for quite some time. Switch to English. Yeah, 12. So moving on to Krita. Krita is similar to GIMP. However, it has more support for CMYK, which is standard printing. Computer graphics display about 24 million colors, whereas standard printers can only print up to 1 million colors. However, the human eye can only really see 1 million colors. It's different. It's different though. This is RGB, on computer monitors, and when it goes to a printer, it goes through CMYK, or cyan, magenta, yellow, and those get mixed to display colors. There's a bit of trouble with blues, specifically, I find. When you're printing blues, you kind of have to do a bit more saturation in Krita to get those blues better, a little bit more sharpening, a little bit more darkening to get something more what you see on the screen. And Krita is kind of my go-to tool for that. And why is that related to SynthEdit? Perhaps for physical prints of, I don't know, boxes, instruction manuals. It's there if you need it. OBS, so this is what I'm running here. This is for broadcasting, streaming, and screen recording. However, I don't believe it does do GIFs. I'm not sure how to do GIFs screen captures. So yeah, that's the SynthEdit Wiki in a nutshell. We do have a couple other small links here. So we got the disclaimer, which just says, you know, if your head blows up, it's not my fault. Notes to editors. So when editing the SynthEdit Wiki, do not upload videos and stuff directly to the wiki. Please index images. Do not upload SynthEdit 1 files, stuff like that. So just if you're going to use images, you can upload them, make them small. Use formal language, so no contractions, no acronyms. If you have to use an acronym or whatever, spell it out completely like digital signal processing, and then beside it brackets DSP. And the reason that's, you know, it's better to use formal writing is because of translation software. Someone from a different country comes to the SynthEdit Wiki and they look at a page you developed. If you're, you know, making contractions or idioms, stuff like that, analogies and idioms, some people, it won't translate properly, or some of the things that are, you know, American English or any other country English, or, you know, different language Englishes, or different language idioms or analogies won't translate properly. So, you know, it's like it's raining cats and dogs. Some people might take that literally. So yeah, stay contemporary. Distracting pages take away from the content, so don't be too flashy. This is why the SynthEdit Wiki itself is really plain looking. It's supposed to be more of a textbook. And keep as clean as possible. So something, you know, don't just jumble all your stuff together. And versions, this is, we're looking at, because this is notes to editors, this is generalized, the whole wiki itself. However, this page here, if we look at this little box here, we have different versions. So this is using namespace, which is up here. And if anybody decides to develop, you know, specific pages about documentation, prefabs specifically, some of the prefabs in 1.1 won't open in 1.4. So, you know, 1.5 is around the corner. If those kinds of prefabs are created, best, you know, via a 1.5 section there, and only upload them there within the 1.5 namespace. And then the 1.4 namespace will have its own 1.4 prefabs. However, 1.1 was never created. It's just not something I got around to. I don't really use 1.1 anymore. However, I know that there are still users out there that do. And we have the SynthEdit Wiki Community Development Log. So this is a reflection of my development log. However, because nobody's really been contributing, there is no entries. And if we look at mine, which is down here, the SynthEdit Wiki Development Log, this is locked for me. This cannot be edited. This is all of what has been contributed to this project, or this SynthEdit Wiki, by me. And some projections. Some things still left to do. When I get some ideas of what I want here, I'll come to the projection in here, and then when I get it done, I, you know, cross it off and say completed. So that's something that I'm hoping that the community development log will look like. And that's it for that top banner. I explained this already. The namespace, or this article, is about the current version of SynthEdit. There's the about link here. So this is just a quick brief on SynthEdit. I got a couple images here, and a little bit of the history, a little bit of a description. So the main page is locked for editing, as well as SynthEdit Wiki development log. So the main page and the SynthEdit Wiki development log are specific to me. Only I could edit those. Just because, yeah, sort of my project. I mean, if I can find a steward, they'd be welcome to have access to those. This table here, the reason that this page is locked is because this table was quite difficult to create. If we look at it, it's pretty hardcore. First page was brutal to make. Just getting everything to line up and the borders and those kinds of things. And so moving down, we've covered pretty much everything from the top and the middle. There's the changelog. This just jumps straight to the SynthEdit. Look at the bottom left down here on the link. It take to the SynthEdit changelog. And there's some related to the subheader. So here's a list of developers. Nobody's really taken advantage of this. I've added myself, which is my site, which I recently updated, I believe. Make sure, no. Okay, so that needs to be updated. However, it does still take it to my site, and I've added Vark Laj Casper because I didn't want to chase down this name again. This is okay, so that's broken. I gotta fix that link. This is an older developer, and the reason that I bookmarked them is because I wanted reference. I didn't want to have to search the internet again. And it doesn't seem like he's still actively doing anything. However, he did create a synth that has provides up to 200 oscillators per voice, which is insane. So that's why I wanted to keep. This is a reference, and it's sort of an example. A legacy developers, sort of an example of another developer in the list besides just me. Again, music. Nobody's taken advantage of this. Again, just me. And moving down the page here, we have a sub footer for the footer, and we have some discussion. So this is pretty much the highlight of this video. I'm going to actually make a place card here. So I'm going to switch back to the screen, and I'm going to change the outline. Web resources.